Coco Chanel is the legend. Gabrielle Chanel is the secret. Tonight, we unbutton the real story. I can still remember being a young girl, mesmerized by my mom's vanity. That's where I first smelled Chanel No. 5. Years later, as a design student at Parsons, I learned about the titans who built this industry, and Coco was at the very top. My senior project, a simple black dress, was a personal tribute to her incredible legacy. Come with me as we uncover the true story of how one girl, with nothing but a needle and thread, went on to become an icon. Before she was Coco, she was Gabrielle, a poor, illegitimate girl abandoned by her father. At an orphanage after her mother's death, the nuns taught her to sew, a skill that would become her weapon. But Gabrielle knew a needle, and thread alone wouldn't get her out of the gutter. Escaping the convent, she tried her luck as a singer in a rowdy cabaret. It was there she got her nickname Coco, likely from a song she sang. And it was there she learned her most valuable lesson: men, specifically rich men, were the key to her survival. Her first patron was the wealthy textile heir Etienne Balsan. He whisked her away to his country estate, a playground for the rich and hedonistic. Coco was his pretty plaything. But she was never content to just be a kept woman. She watched, she learned. She borrowed his clothes, adapting his tweed jackets and writing breeches into her own rebellious style. She was crafting the Chanel look before Chanel even existed. But it was Balsan's friend, the devastatingly handsome English polo player Arthur Boy Capel, who truly changed her life. He was the love of her life, and more importantly, he saw her ambition. He was the one who gave her the money to open her first hat shop in Paris. While other women were dripping in feathers and frills, Coco offered them sleek, simple designs. She wasn't just selling hats, she was selling an attitude, a revolution. But this fairy tale had a tragic ending. Boy Capel was killed in a car crash. Coco was devastated, but she didn't crumble. Instead, she channeled her grief into her work, famously saying, "Either I die as well, or I finish what we started." She even made black the chicest color in fashion, a symbol of her eternal mourning for the only man who truly believed in her. With her empire growing, Coco's taste in lovers became even more extravagant. She had a passionate affair with the Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, the exiled cousin of the last Russian Tsar. He was broke, but he had royal blood and connections. Through him, she met Ernest Bose, the perfumer who would create the legendary Chanel No. 5. The scent was a global phenomenon, making her one of the richest women in the world. Next, she set her sights on the biggest prize of all, the Duke of Westminster. The wealthiest man in Britain, he showered her with jewels, property, and even a plot of land on the French Riviera. For years, they were the ultimate power couple. Everyone assumed she would become his duchess. But when he finally proposed, Coco delivered one of the most iconic rejections in history. "There have been several Duchesses of Westminster," she coolly replied. "There is only one Chanel." She refused to be just another one of his assets. Her name was now more powerful than his title. This is the part of the story the Chanel brand would rather you forget. When World War II broke out and the Nazis occupied Paris, most couture houses closed. But not Chanel. She famously shut her fashion house, but continued to live a life of luxury at the Hotel Ritz, a headquarters for high-ranking German officers. Her new lover, Baron Hans Gunther von Dink, a senior officer in German military intelligence. It gets darker. Declassified documents revealed that Chanel was recruited by Abwehr, the German intelligence agency. She was registered as Agent F7124. With the codename Westminster, a nod to her former lover, her mission, codenamed Operation Model Hat, was to use her high society connections, specifically her pre-war friendship with Winston Churchill, a broker, a separate peace deal between the Nazis and the Allies. The mission failed, but her collaboration was real. After the liberation of Paris, collaborators were having their heads shaved and being publicly shamed. Chanel was arrested, but just as quickly, she was released. Why? The whispers say her old friend Churchill personally intervened to save her from trial and public disgrace. The secrets of a spy had to be protected. To escape the stench of scandal, Chanel fled to Switzerland, living in a self-imposed exile for nearly a decade. In her absence, a new king of couture emerged, Christian Dior, with his ultra-feminine, waist-inching new look. Chanel was horrified. She saw his designs, with their restrictive corsets and heavy fabrics, as an insult to everything she had fought for. So, at the age of 71, when the world had all but forgotten her, she staged the most audacious comeback in fashion history. The French press tore her new collection apart, calling it a rehash of her old ideas, but the Americans loved it. They bought it all. The Chanel suit became the uniform of the modern, successful woman. She had one, but victory came at a price. In her final years, Coco Chanel was a lonely, bitter, and tyrannical figure, ruling her empire from her private apartment above her shop on Rue Cambon. She never married, had no children, and drove away almost everyone who ever loved her. She died in her suite at the Ritz in 1971, a legend shrouded in controversy, a fashion icon, a brilliant businesswoman, a tragic lover, a Nazi collaborator. Coco Chanel was a woman of shocking contradictions. She built an empire on the idea of modern femininity, yet her own life was a tangled, morally ambiguous story of survival at any cost. So, the next time you see that iconic logo, remember the woman behind it, a woman who is so much more complicated and so much more scandalous than the legend she created. So, what do you think? After hearing the real story of Gabrielle Chanel, does it change the way you see the little black dress or that iconic bottle of Chanel No. 5? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by fashion history as I am, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more untold tales from the world of style.